Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen, in the previous videos of this series, why indefinite human life extension is desirable and feasible. We have also seen how it is going to happen and why it is going to happen. So now we come to the primary question, I believe, of this video series, especially as it pertains to you, and that is the question every one of you should be asking. What can I do to help bring about indefinite human life extension? Because even though it is extremely likely that indefinite human life extension will come about, and human beings will, sometime in the future, live indefinitely, that's no guarantee of the timeline. That is, every moment that indefinite human life extension is not achieved, many, many human beings die, perish, disappear forever from this earth. 100,000 people die every single day. And that means that the longer we wait, the more people we will irreversibly lose. So each of us, I believe, no matter what our skills and interests are, needs to do something to contribute to the emergence of indefinite human life. Now, I strongly despise central planning, so I by no means suggest that everybody should follow a single plan. As a matter of fact, a multitude of competing plans and competing approaches is much more effective at achieving this very important goal. So what I'm going to do right here is just to give a few suggestions with regard to what you can do in order to assist the emergence of indefinite human life. Of course, right now, there are coordinated endeavors to do so. The Methuselah Mouse Prize is the most prominent example of this, and accompanying the Methuselah Mouse Prize is Aubrey de Grey's broad initiative, SENS, Strategies for Engineered Negligible Senescence. And funds are very important for these initiatives. I have donated some money to the Methuselah Mouse Prize, and if you have some money to donate, then you might consider doing that. The Methuselah Mouse Prize has grown considerably, as well as the research fund of SENS. The total funds available to these two endeavors are around $12 million right now. When I was first introduced to them in mid-2004, they only had several $100,000. So significant progress in fundraising has been made, and as I discussed before, some great accomplishments in terms of extending the life expectancy of mice. Now, of course, another great thing you could do if you are a scientist, if you have some kinds of talents in chemistry and biology, is to do research that aids in life extension. There are also now distributed computing projects. The most notable of these is Rosetta at Home, which attempt to harness computing power of many, many individuals and organizations for the purpose of performing operations that human beings unaided cannot perform, and even a single computer cannot perform very well, because a lot of computations are required. Rosetta at Home is a project that attempts to figure out how various proteins fold, and how proteins can be folded in order to treat certain kinds of diseases. There are literally millions of different kinds of proteins. Each of them have very complicated structures, and a lot of computing power needs to be devoted to figuring out how these proteins work so that we can use them later on to cure diseases and introduce rejuvenation therapies. So you can contribute your computer to the distributed computing network of Rosetta at Home or any other initiative along these lines that emerges in the future. Now, if you're not a scientist, if your specialty lies in other fields, if you're like me, for instance, I'm not a biologist or a chemist. My specialties are in economics, mathematics, philosophy, a little bit of actuarial science. I also do musical compositions on the side. You can still find some ways to harness your field and your activities of choice so as to contribute to human life extension. Now, most obviously, you can argue that human life extension is desirable. And on a layman's level, as I've been doing, you can discuss some of the progress that has been made in this direction, both in terms of understanding the causes of senescence and death and combating them. Now, also what you could do is insert an anti-death message into your other endeavors. Some examples from my own work include a musical composition titled Man's Struggle Against Death. This is a composition I encourage you to listen to, and I've linked to it in the references section accompanying this presentation. Essentially, this composition is 7 variations on a single theme. Each of the 7 variations is supposed to represent one of the 7 causes of bodily decay through senescence being defeated. And as the melody progresses, it becomes increasingly more cheerful, and the whole tone of the composition becomes much, much more optimistic. And at the end of this work is a coda, which is supposed to represent the final lines of John Donne's sonnet, Death Be Not Proud, and death shall be no more, death thou shalt die. Another very unconventional project that I've been doing is designing 3-dimensional model skyscrapers in Google SketchUp for a fictional model city that I call AntiDeath. The reason why I call it AntiDeath is precisely to spread awareness of the evil that is death, while having people enjoy some nice 3-dimensional art, 3-dimensional models that they can use in other projects of theirs. So use your creativity. Think outside the box. You don't have to do the particular scientific research if you don't have the necessary education and qualifications for that. Whatever you're qualified to do, you can adapt an anti-death message to. And of course, most importantly, keep yourself alive until that threshold when indefinite human longevity is reached. After all, it would do you no good if in 25 years life expectancy starts to increase faster than people age, but you have died from an accident or an illness in the meantime. So please do try to stay alive. I understand that you do not have 100% control over that. There could be various natural disasters, wars, crime, accidents that could prematurely deprive the world of your existence, but do be careful, avoid unnecessary risks, and try, in the meantime, to enjoy yourself in harmless ways. Of course, not having very many bad habits, not smoking, not drinking alcohol to excess, not eating to excess, exercising regularly are all great, great ways to increase your chances of staying alive up until that time. No matter how old you are, by the way, you still have a chance if you lead a healthy lifestyle and you avoid unnecessary dangers. So these are just a few ideas of how you can contribute to the fight against death. Hopefully we shall win, and hopefully I will be around at the time that this threshold occurs to deliver a victory message via YouTube or the equivalent at that time. Thank you very much.